Come on, I can't be the only one that thinks of this song when they play this game. Hey everyone, and welcome to Without Paddles. The hottest game right now seems to be Monster Hunter World, and all the veterans have come out of the woodwork to give their advice to new players. And oh my god, I get so irritated when I hear useless tips from these veterans. One of the most common questions new players ask is, what weapon should I use? And the most useless answer they receive from the veterans are, use what you like. Focus on learning the monster's pattern and try different weapons. Or, pick a weapon and stick to it. It's not good to change weapons often when you're starting. The list goes on. These are all vague and useless answers, in my opinion anyway. If a new player had intended to pick a weapon he or she liked, then that player wouldn't be asking what weapon to start with. So, instead of giving some useless, detrimental PC response, in this video I'll actually try to walk a mile in the shoes of a new player and tell you what weapon I would choose. I'll mention that although this is not my first time playing a Monster Hunter game, I haven't played any of the recent releases, so you can safely assume that I don't know the majority of the monsters I'm hunting in this new release. I also can't remember the patterns of the monsters I was familiar with, so I'm essentially in the same boat as a new player, since I'm going into all these quests with no knowledge of the monsters or their patterns. So first we need to establish what the main goal should be for new players. From my experience, completing the story takes priority over everything else, since that's how you increase your hunter rank and gain access to new areas and monsters to hunt. With me so far? Good. So, since your objective is the completion of quests and not to fuck around and get stuck on a tough monster, then the only answer as to what weapon you should use is always, always, always the lance. Let me tell you what my reasons are. The fastest way to fail a quest in Monster Hunter is for you to faint past the limit of revives you're allowed in a quest. So, we can safely assume that staying alive is number one priority. But since I don't know the attack patterns of a monster I'm hunting, getting hit and fainting is almost inevitable. See the problem? Solution. The massive shield on the lance blocks almost all damage from enemy attacks as long as you have stamina. Using a lance can increase your survivability exponentially, allowing you to fight for longer and observe the monster's patterns very closely. While other weapons have shields, I believe the lance is the only one that will block all the damage, or at least almost all of it. The other way to fail a quest in Monster Hunter is to run out of time because you couldn't find or couldn't deal enough damage to the monster to bring it down. So dealing damage is priority number 2. Dealing damage to monsters when you don't know their pattern of attack can be problematic, since an enraged monster can 1 or 2 shot you. Also, in order for a player to land attacks, the player has to be close to the monster, which makes it incredibly dangerous since some attacks are really fast and really hard to dodge. Solution. The lance can deal amazing damage. This comes from being able to remain in close proximity to the monster at all times while still being protected from its attacks. This way, anytime you see an opening, you can capitalize on it. However, and unfortunately there is a however, all of the lance's benefits come at a price. The lance is incredibly slow and deceptively hard to handle. The good news is that most players will be able to feel comfortable with the lance fairly quickly as they continue to play with it. All they have to remember is that when you want to close or create a gap between you and the monster, you can either sheath your weapon or do a lance charge. The lance should only be unsheathed if you are attacking or blocking. For all movement, it's better to sheath the weapon and then draw it out when you're ready to attack or block an attack. Also, make sure you end all your attacks in a guard dash. This will help cut down the animation time when switching from an attack to a guard stance. On a final note, if you decide to commit to the lance, try to invest in the guard skill. While this isn't necessary by any means, it'll reduce the stamina drain each time you take a hit on your shield, which is extremely helpful in the long run. Even if you choose not to main the lance, I do recommend to keep what I like to call a pocket lance for situations when the monster is pretty much on its last leg and you have just 1 life left. The lance will keep you safe, I promise you. I hope these tips have been helpful, and that it's at least given you some kind of starting point in order for you to make an informed decision. If you agree or disagree, please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you found this helpful or have recommendations, please tell us about it. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe for future content. Thanks for watching!